channel. Welcome to Mystery Monday. Today we're talking about Dalia and Michael Dipolito, the couple that was destined to not be destined. Before we get into today's case, make sure you do hit that subscribe button. I'm here for you every week with true crime, mysteries, and at-home cures that you can do for yourself anytime. Let's get into the case. This is Michael Dipolito. In 2018, Michael was a married man, a successful businessman. He had everything he could ever want, except it wasn't what it all seemed. He was unhappy in his marriage, and that led him to look further. He soon found himself on a dating app, and there he met Dalia, that would soon to be Dalia Dipolito. Now, Michael would describe Dalia as very fun, outgoing, loving, and just the life of the party. She was so attractive and so seductive in her ways that he fell for her very fast. In the beginning, it would start off as an office visit. He would invite her to his office, they hit it off, and soon thereafter he was so enchanted by Dalia that he divorced his wife, and soon after that he found himself married to Dalia. But marriage wasn't what Dalia was looking for. Dalia was looking for Michael's bank account, and this bank account had upwards of $250,000 in it, which I guess she thought was enough to murder. Dalia would end up hiring someone to murder Michael. We don't know why, we just know that she was greedy and wanted his money, so I guess that's why. But Dalia didn't hire just any old person. She would end up hiring the one person who she should have never talked to in the first place to get this done. In the beginning of their relationship, it was a fairy tale. They had a fairy tale wedding, they had a fairy tale honeymoon, and they went on lavish vacations together. Michael was a very successful man and had plenty of money to be able to do so, and he spoiled the crap out of Dalia. He was good to her. She would even say later that he was a good man and was good to her, but something in Dalia just wasn't right. Not too long after the honeymoon and the lavish vacations would ensue a plot out of this evil little mistress's mind to take over everything that Michael ever had. I mean, she wanted his car, she wanted his bank account, she wanted his home. She even talked Michael into signing over his house to her for tax purposes. She literally talked him into signing over his house, and not just him and her on the deed. It was just her on the deed. But that wasn't enough for Dalia. She had to go for more. So she made a plot to have Michael Dipolito murdered. Who would she go to though? Who would be the one person that could get this done but not turn her in and never say anything to anybody about it and get it done to the point where nobody would ever question him, nobody would know it was him, no one would question her? Well, she had the perfect guy in mind, or so she thought. So within 6 months of their marriage, Dalia Dipolito goes to the one person that she thinks she can confide in, which would end up being her ex-boyfriend, Mohammed Jihadi. It's the craziest thing. 6 months, not even 6 months after she marries a man that people think she's in love with, she decides to murder him. So she goes to an ex-boyfriend. Clearly they broke up for a reason. Why would you trust an ex? If I was gonna kill somebody, okay, side note here, if I was going to kill somebody, I would not go to my ex-boyfriend. I would never trust my ex-boyfriend to not tell on me or to not go to the police. I'm sorry, but when you screw someone over, they're ready and willing to screw you back over, you know? But that's not how Dalia thinks. Dalia is a psychopath, so she goes for Mohammed. Now, Mohammed plays along. He's like, what's up? What do you need? And she had pulled on his heartstrings several times before. Whatever she needed, he would give her. And I guess that's why she thought she could do it this time as well. But this time would prove to be a little bit different. She told Mohammed that she was unhappy and he was hurting her. She told him she needed the money and she needed him dead ASAP. So she asked Muhammad if he knew of anyone that would carry out the hit for her, that would murder her husband Michael and never say a word, never go to the police. So Muhammad says, yes, I think I know the perfect person. Well, when they leave from talking to each other, Muhammad realizes this bitch is unstable. Like, she's out of her mind. He goes straight to the police. After speaking to police for a few hours, police get Muhammad in touch with some detectives who have a brilliant idea. They decide, if we're gonna take this woman down, we better get all the evidence that we can. But Muhammad, you're gonna have to work with us on this. So Muhammad agrees. So Muhammad calls up Dalia and tells her, look, I think we can get this done. Bring me $1,200. So Dalia meets with Muhammad in a parking lot in his car and gives him $1,200. Just for the beginning of the job. He says, I'm gonna give this to the hitman as a down payment, but you'll have to pay him the rest when it's finished. But unbeknownst to Dalia, Muhammad is playing along so well that he's actually wearing a wire so that they have a microphone and they can hear everything that she says. They also have a pinhole-sized camera in the back of Muhammad's car that Dalia would actually end up staring at several times during the video of them speaking about the hitman and how she wanted the job done. Let's take a look.
Okay, after he kills him, whatever, your mom and all of them are not gonna, like, his mom is not gonna get suspicious of you or anything like that?
Why me? Like, for killing somebody? Come on. Nobody's gonna be able to point a finger at me.
Like,
I brought $1,200. Like, that's all I brought. Sure. It's like, I'll give you 20 once it's done.
After Dalia leaves the car and the coast is clear, cops call Muhammad on a speakerphone while he's still in the car.
Hello?
Muhammad,
Yes.
where's she going? To get the money or what?
No, she gave me the money.
Gave you the money.
Yeah.
They already have her talking to Muhammad on camera, on a wire. They hear every word where she says she wants Michael Dipolito dead. She'll pay the hitman $1,200 now and $20,000 after it's done. And Muhammad is trying his best to play along, and he does great. But now that they have her actually handing over the money, they still want more evidence. So police at this point have plenty of evidence. They have enough evidence to convict Dalia of conspiracy to commit murder. But they're not done there, because they want these charges to absolutely stick. They want to get her so deep in this conspiracy that she will never be able to dig her way out. So detectives come up with this brilliant plan. They're going to actually send in the hitman. And the hitman would end up being undercover officer Witty Jean, who would play an integral part in this case and absolutely be the #1 thing that would nail her to the wall. Just like they did with Muhammad, they wire up Witty Jean, they put a pin-sized camera in the back of his car that, again, she would end up looking at several times but continue on with the deal, and this is what she says. Let's take a listen.
If you want it done tonight, tomorrow, or the week, I understand. I could get it done by Wednesday if you want me to. You understand? But I got to do my homework, you know?
Right.
I got to, know exactly where the place is and how to get out of there, how to get in and out, you understand, what the neighbors want. I got to call the cops, report a shooting to see how fast they get to that location. There's a lot of stuff I got to do. That's going to cost me a lot of money. So I got to buy a phone to do it with and then burn the phone later on. There's a lot I got to do.
Right, so what can we
but no,
do?
I don't mind. You ain't got to do it now. As a matter of fact, you can leave the thing. You can leave, my payment at the house. If you want to do it at the house, he says he's going to be somewhere this week. If you want to do it somewhere else, then I have to meet with you, later on to cash. Understand? But you let me know. You give me a day. You give me a time.
How are we
you
going
give
to
me
do
a
it?
habit.
So if we go ahead and we do it, at the house, how
Well,
soon could you do it? And
I
what
could
time
do it
are we looking at?
Wednesday morning. It's going to be like I break into the house. Didn't think he was going to be home because everybody works in the daytime.
Right.
I'm going to think he's at work. Boom, he's not at work. Then, he gets 2 in the head. That's it. I take a couple things with me, break a couple windows, make it look like a robbery that went bad. It's all over. I'm gone out of there. You understand? I'm not going to be by myself. I'm going to have other people watching my back. doing the thing. You know what I'm saying? Because does he have guns in the house?
No.
All right.
He's right now, he's on probation, so there's a lot of people that don't like him.
All right. What's his name?
Mike.
Mike. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that's how I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Robbery went bad. That's the thing. I give you maybe 1 or 2 days, but I'll be in contact with you. You know what I mean? When it's all done, and then I get paid. And I don't know, because I don't want...
No, I'm not going to, I'm a lot tougher than what I look. I know you see me and you're like, oh, what a cute little girl, whatever. But I'm not.
You are. You're extremely beautiful.
Thank you, but, I just need to make sure everything's going to take care of.
All right. Okay. So, you pay me the back end. How much are you paying me?
What do you say back end?
Okay, when it's all done. I was going to get $3,000 from you today, and $3,000 when it's all done.
Right.
Okay? Since I'm going to collect all of it at once, just throwing maybe $1,000 more. 1,000 or 2. So can you do 7 or 800,000? What's this one?
This is 7, is that okay?
Okay, 7 cash. Okay? All right. Okay.
That's why I wanted to know, do you want to come to my house Wednesday, or do you just want to, you know what I mean? I don't know what kind of scenes you do, whatever. He's going to be going to the bank on Wednesday. I don't know if, yeah, I don't know if that's too public for you, or if that's
what's he doing at the bank?
He has to pull out money for his business partner.
Oh, he's not going to, okay, so he doesn't have any money at the house, man?
He's hard cash. He's going and pulling out the money because he has to make it look like it's coming from an account from his business partner.
Okay.
It's like a business account.
How much money?
He said he's pulling out, I think, around 10.
All right.
But now I don't know if that's, too public for you, or...
Well, I mean, I could do it like that, but it is public. I'll get the money. But the thing about it is that it's a harder getaway. Well, here's what I'm going to do. If I don't do it now, because, the thing is, I don't want to get greedy, but, the fact that he's only got $10,000 on him, I'm interested.
Exactly.
And it's only going to make it look like, he has more reason to be robbed because of that amount of money.
Right.
Right, and they're probably going to suspect the partner because the only partner knows he's going to get that.
Exactly.
All right? So what I'm going to do is that, I'm going to try to change my plans a little bit and then try to, do it with the whole bank thing. If I can't come through with it by Wednesday, then it's going to have to be at the house. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm more interested in that additional $10,000 I'm going to get from him. You know what I mean? Because, that's not going to come out of your pocket.
So at this point, she's like, yeah, I'm going to pay you $20,000 when it's done, but if you do the deed in public while he's at the bank, he'll have $10,000 in his hand. Just take the $10,000. You'll end up with, $31,200 altogether, and you'll be set. What's the big deal? But Witty Jean has plans. He wants to do this at her house, and he knows that in the future, he needs to stage a scene, and he does not want to do this in public. So he ends up talking Dalia into letting him do this at home and tells her, you're going to need to be away for the morning. You're going to need an absolute solid alibi. And she's willing.
I understand, because after today, I can't get a hold of you. If it doesn't work out the way I'm safe, or, the way, I'm comfortable with it at the bank thing, it's going to have to be at the house. I just want to make sure that you're not going to be home when no one else is not going to be home.
Well, you got to tell me. Okay, are we looking at Wednesday morning, or are
yeah, Wednesday's the day I'm going to go for the money. If the money doesn't work, then I'm going to have to do it before then. You know what I mean? Like I said, I have a small window, at the house or the money. If I don't get it by the money, then I'm done.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. But what I wanted to say to you is that I wanted to make sure, for example, okay, this shit doesn't happen Wednesday. Thursday morning, for example, you don't come and I'm there,
At the house?
Right. I want to make sure,
if it doesn't happen by Wednesday, I'm not coming. Right. Okay, so you just had surgery? When?
His back right here.
All right. Okay. So he's not going to be able to move that.
He won't be able to, he walks fine and everything like that, but it's going to be a little bit of a struggle.
Okay.
He wears here, all this here, all these here are tender points.
Okay. I said that, between now and when it's done, you're not going to have an option to change your mind. Even if you change your mind, you're not talking to him.
There's no changing, there's no, I'm determined already. I'm positive, 5,000% sure,
okay.
I was stressing when you told me you were going to come up here, and then I'm, looking at the time, I'm what's the fact? He's not coming, he's not this, it's all this stuff or whatever. No, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. As soon as he told me, listen, I need the money from you, I went, I grabbed it right away, we were good to go. With me, you're not going to have a problem, you're not going to have an issue. You know what I mean? Nothing of nothing.
Do you go jogging in the morning? You go to the gym in the morning?
with going to the gym, yeah. I mean, if I go tomorrow, it's not going to look weird or anything.
Okay.
I go to the gym on a regular basis.
All right, Wednesday morning, go to the gym.
All right.
All right, because if I can't do the bank thing, then I'm gonna have to do it at the house. I don't want you at the house.
Okay.
By the time you get back from the gym, you're gonna find two things: a dead body in the house, all right, or nothing.
All right.
Okay, if it's nothing, then it's gonna be the thing.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow then. And then when I go Wednesday, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
So it's funny how Dalia struggles with the fact that this guy really wants to do this at her house. He says he'll take a couple things, break a couple windows, make it look like a robbery gone wrong. Nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, if you're gonna get 250 grand, what is there to worry about? Well, she doesn't want this guy in her house. She doesn't want him touching her things. She doesn't want him anywhere near her house. But by the end of it, Witty Jean would convince her that the deed would be done at her house and she needed to be gone, and she agrees. She don't want to, but she agrees. Now guys, how sick do you have to be to want this done? Like, you have to have a few screws loose for this. You have a good man in her eyes. He's treated her very well. He has spoiled her. She has the rest of her life to be spoiled, never work again, never anything. And she's willing to do this for $250,000 that's going to go in a year or 6 months or however long it takes her to spend this money. To me, that doesn't make sense. Because if you're that greedy, you would stay with the man so he would continue to give you money, but whatever. She wants him dead, so. And when the guy talks about how he's going to do it, he's like, pop, pop. 2 shots to the head, burglary gone wrong. Dalia has absolutely no remorse in her eyes. She's even smiling at some points and laughing. It's just so sick. So as the plot thickens, now detectives have her not only once but twice saying to people who are willing to kill her husband, hey, I want my husband dead. I'm gonna pay you to do it. Here's how to do it. And they actually go through with it and make a plan. So the big day comes along, and Dalia, where's Dalia? Before Dalia leaves for her alibi, she's thinking, okay, this guy's gonna come in here, rob my house, and kill my husband. I don't want my shit taken. So she literally removes $80,000 worth of her jewelry from the home, puts it in her gym bag, and heads off to the gym like it's any old day. Kisses her husband goodbye like nothing's gonna happen, and goes to the gym. Even if these were not on tape, even if this wasn't an undercover officer that was the hitman, even if no one knew and this actually happened, wouldn't you, if you were a detective, wouldn't you be suspicious of the fact that she removed $80,000 worth of jewelry before the burglar came in? Like she knew it was gonna happen? What is she, psychic? That would be so suspicious. But she don't want her shit taken, remember? She's a greedy bitch. So she takes her stuff and she leaves. Crazy. So police show up this same morning at Michael Dipolito's house. Instead of the hitman, they get the police. And they tell Michael Dipolito, who is literally recovering from surgery, that a hitman was supposed to come to his house at that exact time and kill him while his wife was at the gym, and that she had paid him with Michael's money to do so. Let's take a look at Michael's reaction in court.
I obviously looked like I was in shock or something, and that's when the guy blurted out, listen, you have to come with us, your wife's gonna have you killed today. Well, I stood there and I kind of looked around, and I see a bunch of cameras in the bushes or wherever, and I just kind of said, what the hell is it? Like, I couldn't figure out what was going on.
After this, police stage the whole scene. They're like, how far can we take this? Let's do the whole thing. Let's act like he actually got killed and we're just showing up because, shots were fired and we don't know it was her. Let's see how far she's willing to take this lie. So, police give Dalia a call.
Ma'am, I need to talk to you. It's very urgent when you come home. It involves your husband. There's been an incident. Okay? Can you come right back to your residence, please?
Yeah, I'm leaving right now. Is she okay?
Ma'am, I'll tell you everything you need to know when you get here. Okay? Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
She drives 10 minutes to her house. She shows up, she sees police crews there, a coroner van there, there's even news crews there that have been set up to make it look real. And so she walks up to the detective, and the detective says, "I'm sorry, ma'am, your husband is deceased." Let's take a look at Dalia's reaction, because if I didn't know better, I would think she was legitimately upset, or either the best actor in all of the world, or let's just take a look.
Listen, we had a report of a disturbance at your house, and there were shots fired. Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, man. He's been killed. He's been killed, man. I'm sorry.
No, he's not.
Listen.
No.
Try to calm down. Listen, right now we need to get you to the station.
No.
We need to get you to our police station. I can't let you in, man. We have to do our job.
Y'all, before the detective even says he's been killed, she's screaming and crying with her head on his shoulder. Before he even blurts out the fact that Michael is dead. When we all know Michael's not dead, but she believes it. And this is a completely different person than we just saw in that car with the undercover detective laughing and planning his murder. Bitch is bipolar. And then she's worried about her dog. Not Michael, she's worried about her dog.
Who he's connected to. Don't worry, we've already taken care of your dogs with animal control for right now.
So cops finally bring Dalia back to the station to ask her some questions after she calms down, and plot twist. They bring in the one and only Witty Jean, the hitman. But they bring him in handcuffs. And they're like, "Do you know this man?" And she's like, "No." They're like, "What were you doing coming out of this woman's house, Mr. Man? Do you know what he was doing coming out of your house?" She's like, "I have no idea. I don't know this guy." And I don't know. It's a whole act. And so he goes out of the room. They let her talk for a few minutes. And finally the detective's like done. He's done. And he's like, "Guess what? Your husband is alive and well." And she goes, "Thank God." It's the whole thing. And he's like, "We're done with the act. You're under arrest."
You're going to jail today for solicitation and murder. You're under arrest. That's an undercover police officer. We filmed everything that you did, recorded everything that you did. You're going to jail for solicitation of first-degree murder of your husband.
I didn't do it.
Did you hear what I just told you?
I heard you. I didn't do anything.
What do you want to do here?
I didn't do
Dalia?
anything.
Listen to
I
me.
didn't do anything.
You're going to
I
jail.
didn't do anything. Please, I didn't do anything.
Can you stand up?
Stand up, please. We go ahead and arrest you for solicitation of first-degree murder.
I didn't.
How's make you feel he's still alive?
I didn't do anything, and I didn't plot anything.
Okay, good.
So her mantra here is, "I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything." She's telling the news crews, "I didn't do anything." This is after the fact that they have shown her the tapes. Let her listen to her own voice, shown her herself soliciting murder in this man's car. That he's an undercover detective, everything. They tell her all of their evidence, and she's still like, "But I didn't do anything, officer. Not me." I mean, this bitch deserves a Grammy. You know what I'm saying? Because I would have broke out laughing. If I was crazy and this is what I had done, I would never be able to hold up this lie for that long. I'm just being honest. I wouldn't be able to. I would bust out laughing and be like, "You got me. Just take me in, dude. Take me in. You got me." But not this bitch. But the craziness is not over with. So somehow Dalia is able to get Michael on the phone while she's in prison, and she tries her best to, I guess, kind of like talk him out of pressing charges when she doesn't even realize it's not up to him. But it's like she's saying, "If only I could get a few minutes with you, you would understand." And he's like, "But I saw the video, Dalia. I heard you say you wanted me killed. You paid someone to kill me. I know what I saw." And she's telling him, "I know what you saw too, babe, but it's not true. It's just not true." And it's almost like Michael almost believes it.
Just give me time so I can talk to you.
want $1,200 and say, yes, I want them dead. What can I possibly do for you? I don't get it. What can I do?
You're not even trying.
Trying what? I'm here like a dumb.
These people that are narcissistic, psychopathic, just neurological sickness, they hold these like anchors on us. And it's like when they've been caught in a lie, when there's video evidence, proof of what they have done, they get caught in this lie, and it's somehow they're able to either talk you out of believing it, believing what you saw with your own eyes, or talk you into forgiving them and making it seem like it wasn't that bad, like they really didn't do something as bad as what happened. They hold something over us sometimes. So the trial begins, and Dalia has her public defender there with her, of course. Michael's in the courtroom. He's telling the judge, you know, like he's on the witness stand, and he's telling the judge, this is what happened. You know, when the cops showed up, they were saying a hitman could have shown up that day. Thank God they didn't. And blah, 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 and I needed to play along, and so I did, and, you know, he's saying his reaction. And the whole time, Dalia is sitting there, just staring into space, shaking her head like it never even happened, like this is a whole lie, like there's not a whole video or 2 videos of her soliciting his murder twice, paying for his murder twice. And plot twist, get this, when Dalia's defense attorney stands up and begins to speak to the jury, he begins to tell a tale of innocence that comes from a standpoint of another level of crazy. He tells the jury and everyone in the courtroom, yes, Dalia did this. Dalia got in a car with these 2 people and solicited a hit. A murder on her husband, yes. But did she intend to really kill him? Absolutely not. And everybody's bewildered by the fact that he's literally trying to say that she did do this, but she didn't mean it. And so his defense is that Dalia and Michael were signed up with a TV show, a reality show, to do this. And that the police station was supposed to be playing along, and that's why everything's on camera. And she's like, that's why there was cameras even at the house when I showed up. We were doing a reality show. This is all for TV. We did, you know, we all agreed to do this, even the police department. And now they're trying to bring this up, and it's a complete trap. He's trying to say that Dalia and Michael were doing some kind of reality show where she kills Michael, or she has a hitman kill Michael. That's their entire defense, guys. So, of course, Michael gets back on the stand and witnesses to the fact that no, he was never solicited to do any kind of reality TV show, any kind of TV show, period, by any network whatsoever. She even comes up with the network A&E. Like, I can't believe that her attorney would go along with this, knowing that they could go to A&E and ask for the paperwork. But there would be none, because there was no TV show. And a whole police department set her up when they were doing this for a TV show. That's another level of crazy. Guys, why didn't you tell me my puppy was tearing my bed up? Whose side are you on? Come on. Oh, she literally tore up the whole pillow. Dalia Dipolito's trial would not last that long at all. It was literally an open and shut case. It literally took no time for the jury to deliberate on her case. They came back with a consensus that everyone agreed on very quickly. Dalia was convicted of solicitation for murder, and she was sentenced to 20 years in prison with no chance of parole during that entire time. Michael and his family were ecstatic. You know, they were so elated that it was so easy for everyone to see that the evidence was quite clear, that they were not working for A&E or any television company, period. And this was just a really greedy woman who had a ice cold heart and only wanted cold hard cash in her pocket, not love. So Michael Dipolito has moved on. It was very hard for him to do so. He had a hard time getting Dalia to sign his house back over to him. You know, she owns the house, I guess, and I couldn't find anywhere that said that he actually got her to sign the house back over to him or not, but he soon divorced Dalia and he was able to find love again. He fell in love and he's now engaged to a new fiance, a beautiful woman, and hopefully Michael Dipolito lives happily ever after with his new fiance and his family. I can only say that this was a story of greed, and you cannot compare that to anything when it comes down to someone who is so greedy that they'll put $250,000 on a life and call that a day, and then act like they didn't know anything about it, and then be so crazy as to say it was for a TV show. And that, in my mind, it's almost like she should be in a loony bin somewhere, but this bitch deserves jail time, so that she hopefully never does this to anyone again. If it weren't for Muhammad, where would we be? Would Michael be dead? What if he had agreed to this? What if he had actually found a hitman? Michael would be dead, and we might have never solved the case. So kudos to Michael. He gets 10,000 cool points in my book. But that's it for today's show, guys. I really appreciate you hanging out with me today. Make sure you leave a comment. I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think she was actually working for a production company or trying to and film something to send in to them? Or what do you guys think about this? Make sure to leave me a like, and if you have not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm here for you every week with true crime, mysteries, and homeopathic remedies that you can do for yourself at home. Thank you for watching. Bye, guys.